Hello friends, see frequency and the frequency distribution. See, what do you mean by the frequency? So frequency is what? Frequency is simply the value of a variable that can be discrete or the continuous, like height, weight, income, which occur twice or more in a given series of observation. Then the number of occurrence of the value is termed as the frequency of the value. So what is frequency? Very simple. Number of times or number of occurrence of the value is nothing but the frequency. Frequency, very frequent means what? Regularly, right? So frequency is how many times that number basically occurred in the data set. For example, say if I say 1 2 3 4 5 1, so in that, what is the frequency of 1? So 1 appeared here this time also and this time also. That means the 2 times 1 has been occurred, so frequency of 1 will be 2. How many times the number 3 appear? 3 appear here only once, right? So the frequency will be, frequency of a number 3 will be 1, right? So frequency means simply the number of times occurrence of the value. For example, say, so these are the heights of the persons. Okay, now you tell me how many times the 160 centimeter height is repeated. Here is a 160, here is 160, and again here is 160. That means the frequency of 160 is 3. 3 times it occurred means it is a frequency. Again, how many times the 170 appear? 170 is only one time here, right? So frequency will be 1. Frequency is nothing but the number of times repetition or the occurrence of the value in the data set. Now, what do you mean by the frequency distribution? Frequency distribution, see, the way of representing the data in the form of a table consisting of the value of a variable with the corresponding frequency is called as the frequency distribution. Means what? If you prepare the table, very simple, the variable or the value, and you plot against the frequency. So the table of variable or the value and the frequency, that table basically is nothing but the frequency distribution. So frequency distribution is nothing but the table we have prepared, the value and corresponding frequency is written. For example, say, so 155 is repeated only one time, so frequency 155 it is 1. For 160 again it is repeated 3 times, so frequency is 3. 165 again repeated only one times, right? So the frequency is 1. 170 is again only one time repeated, so frequency is 1. So if you prepare the table like this is called as the frequency distribution table, right? Very simple concept. Okay, now what do you mean by the class limit? So what is the class? Class means simply the data set you are having. For example, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. So this is what? This is simply the class limit, different classes, or also called as the class intervals. Okay, now the lowest value, the lower class limit or the lower class interval is the lowest value. For example, in the class 30 to 40, what will be the lower value? 30. So 30 will be called, we will call it as the lower class limit, and 40 is highest value, so we will call it as the upper class limit. Very simple. So lowest value in class is called lower limit and upper is called as the upper limit. Very easy. Okay, now what is the mid value or the class mark? Mid value is also called as the class mark. So mid value is nothing but the midpoint of the data, midpoint of the class is called as the mid value. So what is mid value? Very simple. Midpoint is nothing but your mid value. Very simple. Name itself is indicating, right? Or it is sometimes it is also called as the class marks. See how to find the mid value or the midpoint. Simply the lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. You will get the mid value. Very simple, right? For example, for a class 30 to 40, what will be the mid value? Simply 30 plus 40 upon 2, it will be 70 upon 2. So 35 will be your mid value. Very easy, right? Okay. Now, how to find the class width or the class length? See, what is a class width and a class length? So we will discuss it in two type of see, the classes can be exclusive type or classes can be the inclusive type, right? What do you mean by exclusive? See, for example, if class is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, means what? The class, see, here 10 is repeating, right? Here, what is happening? Simply the 10 is repeating, again 20 is repeating, 30 is repeating, means what? It is continuous in nature. And in that case, we have to find the class width as the upper limit minus lower limit. For example, for the class, say 20 to 30, what is upper limit? 30. What is lower limit? 20, right? Very simple. So 30 minus 20, 10 will give you the width of the class, right? Now in case of inclusive classes, which is non-continuous type, for example, say is 0 to 9, then 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 30. That means here the no value is repeating. Here the 10 is repeating, 20, 30, but here no such a type of repetition is there. It is called as non-continuous. That is called as the inclusive. Okay, now See, for example, for 20 to 29, how to find the class width? So upper limit will be 29 and lower limit will be 20, right? So when you subtract upper limit minus lower limit, you have to add 1 here. You will get the class width in case of the inclusive type, right? So 20 minus 29 plus 1, it will be 10, right? Very easy. Now see, sometimes you are not able to remember how to find whether it is inclusive or exclusive. So there is one shortcut to find the class width, right? So see, any type, what do? You do only one thing. See, difference between 10 and 20 is 10. 10 is your class width. Now again, difference between 20 and 30, the 10 is your class width. So instead of remembering the formula, or sometimes if you are not able to remember the formula, not able to recall the formula, simply do one thing. See, the lower limit of the one class and lower limit of the next class, the difference between them is simply the width. This is the trick, right? This is not the formula, this is the trick, right? So if you are not able to remember the formula for the inclusive, for exclusive, simply the difference. For inclusive, you have to add 1, right? So if you are not able to remember, in that case, very simple, 0 to 10, what is difference? Difference is 10, so 10 will be the class width. 10 to 20, again the 10. That means if you are not able to recall two formula, if you are having some confusion, at that time you can apply that trick. Okay. Now what is the type of class interval? See, again, what do you mean by the exclusive type and what do you mean by the inclusive type? See, first, exclusive type class interval. So the upper limit is excluded from the class and included into the next class. What do you mean by it? See, very simple. If we are having the classes 0 to 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40. So these are the classes. Now take example for say this 20 to 30. So what they are saying, upper limit is excluded. So that 30 is a upper limit and 20 is a lower limit, right? So upper limit 30 we will not count here, right? 30 we will count in next class, that is 30 to 40. So in 20 to 30, lower limit 20 is included in the same class. However, the upper limit 30 is excluded from that class and it will be included into the next class. So where we will count that 30 will not counted here, 30 will be counted in the next class, that is called as the exclusive. So here simply upper limit is excluded, right? Next is inclusive type of class interval. So in that case of inclusive type, what is happening? See, both lower and the upper, all lower and both lower and the upper limit, they are included into the same class interval. For example, say if we take the 10, see, by looking itself we can say it is inclusive. For example, say it is see, here is repetition like 10 10, 20 20, 30 30. So repetition is there, that means it is an exclusive type, right? If there is no repetition, obviously it will be the simply inclusive type, right? Now see here, for example 10 to 19, right? So both lower limit as well as upper limit we will count into the same class. For example, for 10 to 19, 19 will be included in the same class of 10 to 19. Okay, so for inclusive there is no doubt, both are included, lower and upper. However, for exclusive type, upper limit we have to exclude from that class. Okay. Next, there are some formula like relative frequency. What is relative frequency? Very simple. It is a frequency upon total frequency, right? Relative frequency is nothing but the frequency upon total frequency. What is the percentage of frequency? Simply, to find the percentage of frequency, again the same thing. Frequency upon total frequency, simply multiply by 100. Now what is the frequency density? It is again the frequency upon width of the class. You will get the frequency density, right? So these are the very simple formula. Now see, through example you will get the idea. Suppose they have given the class interval and the frequency. Okay, now they are asking find the relative frequency for the class 20 to 30. So where is 20 to 30? Here is the class 20 to 30. So in that case we have to find the relative frequency. So what is the relative frequency? So what will be the total of this? 12 plus 8, 20, 20 plus this 12 again 32. So 32 is what? Total frequency. Now for class 20 to 30, frequency is 12. So relative frequency will be 12 upon 32, right? So this will be relative frequency. Now find percentage of frequency. Percentage of frequency, again very simple. The frequency is for 20 to 30. Again frequency is 12 divided by total frequency 32, multiply by simply 100. You will get the percentage, right? So percentage here you will get 37.5. Very easy. Next is what? Simply finding the frequency density. So how to find the frequency density for 20 to 30? Now see, what is the class width for 20 to 30? It is what? It is inclusive type or exclusive type. So repetition is there, continuous values are there. So we have to exclude from the upper limit, right? It is the exclusive type of class, right? So in that case, we have to simply do the upper limit minus lower limit. So 20 minus 30. So here you will get 10 is the width of the class, right? Or you can simply do like this, right? 20 minus 10 or 30 minus 10, answer is 10. 10 it will be the width of the class. Okay, so width, so what is formula? The frequency upon width, right? So what is frequency? Frequency is again for 20 to 30, frequency is 12, so it is 12 upon width. Width is what? 10, so the density will be 1.2, right? Density will be 1.2. So in that way you have to solve in the examination. Very simple formula. What is relative frequency? It is the frequency upon the total frequency. What is the percentage frequency? Simply for relative frequency, multiply it by 100. Frequency upon total frequency into 100. What is the density? Simply it is the frequency upon width of the class. Very simple, right? So remember that formula. For these are one mark numerical they can ask in the examination. Okay. Now what do you mean by the class boundary? See, inclusive classes can be converted into the exclusive classes. So what is inclusive classes? Inclusive means what? Upper limit are included. Exclusive means upper limit is excluded, right? So inclusive we can convert into the exclusive, and new class interval we will call it as the class boundary, right? Very simple. Now see, through example you will get the idea. See, this is the inclusive type of class, right? 5 to 9, 10, 14, 15, 19, 20, 24. These are inclusive. Why? Because there is no repetition. Okay, so we have to convert that inclusive into the exclusive classes, right? So we will do some, apply some formula, and it will be get converted into the exclusive classes. How? See, there is repetition, there is repetition, there is repetition. So when there is continuous and connected, there is what? Exclusive classes. When there is non-continuous, we call it as the inclusive classes. Okay. Now see how to convert that. For that we have one formula. In that formula we have to find the adjustment factor. What is adjustment factor? See, lower limit of a next class minus upper limit of previous class divided by 2. For example, say we have to take this, right? From this we are making this, right? So see, what is the lower limit of next class? Say 10. What is the upper limit of previous class? Say 9, right? So this is the lower limit of, and this is the upper limit, right? So 10 minus 9 upon 2, it will be 1 by 2, it will be 0.5. So we got 0.5 as the adjustment factor, right? Now next thing is very simple. What? From upper, to find the new UCI or LCI, what you have to do? For new LCI, subtract the adjustment factor from the old LCI, and for new UCI, add the adjustment factor to the old UCI, right? Very simple. See, now what is our adjustment factor here? See, I will tell you here in simple way. See, very simple. This is very simple and again important for exam point of view. So what is the, see, upper limit is 15, lower limit is 14, or you can take upper limit 10, lower limit 19. So what is difference? Difference 15 minus 15 is 1 divided by 2. So factor we got 0.5, right? So how to adjust that factor? So from these lower limits we have to subtract 0.5, and from this all upper limit we have to add 0.5, right? So 5 minus 0.5, it will be 4.5, 10 minus 0.5, 15 minus 0.5, and 20 minus 0.5, it will be 19.5. So we got the lower boundaries. Now to find the upper boundary we have to simply add 0.5. So it 9 plus 0.5, 14 plus 0.5, 19 plus 0.5, and 24 plus 0.5. So you can see here the boundary, the upper limit become the lower limit of next class, upper limit become the lower limit of next class. That means they are continuous in nature, they are continuous and connected, right? So in that way you have to solve in the examination if they are asking, right? Okay, this is just for your information. Okay, now see again the same type of problem, right? So in that case, see, these are the they have given the class, we have to convert into the new class boundary we have to find, right? And this is what? This is continuous in nature, right? So inclusive, we are converting the inclusive to the exclusive type, right? Now see how to find the factor. So factor is what? Upper limit minus lower limit, right? Lower limit minus upper limit, right? So 49 minus 48, it will be 1 divided by 2, right? So it will be 0.5, right? So 0.5 will factor. So from this lower value subtract 0.5, and to find this simply add here, right? So from each lower class limit subtract the 0.5. So you will get 43.5, 48.5, 54 becomes 53.5 and add the 0.5 into the upper limits, right? So it will be 48 becomes 48.5, 58 becomes 58.3, 73 becomes 73.5. So in that way you have to find, very easy, right? Finding the new class boundary. Finding the new class boundary is nothing but simply you are converting the inclusive type of the class interval to the exclusive type of class interval, and exclusive is nothing but the continuous, you can see here it is a continuous, right? Now see, what do you mean by open end class interval? In open end class interval, either lower limit of the first class or the upper limit of the last class or even both are missing. For example, see if this is the class you have given. Now if I say the lower limit is below 10, lower limit is below 10. So below 10 it can be 9, it can be 8, 7, 1, 2, 0. It can be anything below 10. So number of values are there. There is no end, right? If there is statement like above 30, so above 30 it can be 31, 32, whatever it may be, right? That means there is no end. So below 10 means what? It is the end is open at the below, open end. Above 30 means there is no end, so open end, right? Very simple, right? If I say below 10 in the range, that means there is no end. If I say above 50, it can be the no end, that is called as open end class interval, or it can be both, like below 10, above 40, like that. That means open end means what? There is no specific value at the end of the interval, like below 10 it can be anything, above 30 it can be anything. That's why it is called as the open end class interval. Now see how problem can we ask. See, the following is the marks of 50 students. Prepare the cumulative frequency distribution of both types and find the relative frequency. Now see, marks they have given 0 to 10 marks 7 students got, 20 to 30 11 students got, 20 to 30 again 19 students got, 10 to 20 11, 20 to 30 19, 30 to 40 5 and 50 to 40 40 to 50 is 6. So they are the marks and students got this mark, number of students got this mark. So this is what, this is again nothing but the frequency of the classes. So these marks nothing but the classes and students are nothing but the frequency, right? Now they are asking find the relative frequency and also find the cumulative frequency distribution table we have to prepare. So how they can ask question, like for example they will ask you for 20 to 30 what is the less than cumulative frequency. They can ask you for 30 to 40 what can be the more than cumulative frequency. Okay, very simple. So how to find that? See, to find the cumulative frequency less than, right? To find the cumulative frequency less than, what do you have to do? Very simple. See, take 7 as it is, right? So 7 as to 7. Now 7 plus 11 it will be 18, 18 plus 19 it will be 37, 37 plus 5 it will be 45, 44 plus 6 it will be 50. So 7, 18, 37, 44, 50, these are become the cumulative frequency less than. Very simple. Cumulative means what? Simply you have to add, right? Now they can ask you what is the cumulative frequency less than for class 20 to 30. So answer will be 37, right? Next, how to find the cumulative frequency more than? So to find the cumulative frequency more than, we have to start from the higher value. More than means what? Higher value. So from 40 to 50, that is what the higher class we have to start, right? That means from bottom we have to start. Okay, now take 6 as it is. So 6 we have taken as it is 6, right? So it will be 6 here. Now 6 plus 5 it will be 13, 13 plus 19 it will be 32, 32 plus 11 it will be 43 and 43 plus 7 it will be 50, right? So the value 50, 43, 32, 15, 13 and 6, this become the cumulative frequency more than, right? So very simple. For less than, simply starts from the top. For more than, simply starts from the bottom. Or for less than, you can start from the lower marks, like that. Or for lower marks or the lower class interval. For cumulative frequency more than, you have to start with the higher class interval, that is bottom. Okay, very simple. Okay, now how to find the relative frequency? Again, the very simple. What is the relative frequency? I have already told you. Relative frequency is nothing but what? It is simply the frequency upon total frequency. Now, if there is question, what is the relative frequency for class 20 to 30, right? So for that, the frequency is 19 and total frequency is 50. See, total frequency simply addition of it, right? So 19 upon 50. So this is what? This is the total frequency, right? So relative frequency 19 upon 50, you will get the relative frequency, right? So for each class you can find here, like 7 upon 50. For 11 it is 11 upon 50, 19 upon 15, 19 upon 50, 5 upon 50, 6 upon 50, like that. Okay, this will be your relative frequency. They can ask you what is the relative frequency for a class 40 to 50. So answer will be 0.12. In that way, they can frame the questions. So friends, this is very easy, right? So see further one interesting question. The data of some worker's salary is given 2300, 24, 2500, 2100, 2000, like that continuously they have given the data. Now say if desired number of class interval are 10, so there are 10 classes, what will be the class width? So what do you mean by width of the class? Width is nothing but the total length of the class, right? Total length of the class. Okay. Now if they have not given directly the particular number of classes, they have not arranged properly, they have not given the frequency also, right? So in that case, how to solve? See, what do you mean by class width? See, class width is nothing but the range upon the number of classes they are having. Okay, so what is range? So range they have not given, so we have to find the range. Range means what? Simply lowest value to highest value, it will be giving you the range, right? So 2000 is the lowest value here, 3000 is the highest value here in the given data set. So range will be 3000 minus 2000, right? And we have to divide it with the number of classes. Number of classes, how many classes are there? There are 10 classes or 10 class interval, so divided by 10, so it will be 1000 upon 10, so answer will be 100, right? So option number A you can mark here. Again the same type of question, see here, the largest and the smallest value they have given 60 and 40. Now if the desired number of class interval is 5, the number of classes are 5, find the width of the class. So what is we are having? Width is nothing but the range upon number of classes. So what is the range? Range is nothing but the highest value minus lowest value, right? So highest value minus lowest value upon number of classes. So what is highest value? 60, lowest value 40, right? And divide it with the number of classes. So classes are 5, so it will be 20 upon 5, so it will be 4, right? So 4 will be, means option number C you can mark here as the correct option. So in that way you have to solve in the examination. Very simple, right? So friends, here's the end of this chapter. You can download the application Bankers Zone CAIIB from the Play Store. If you have any doubt, you can reach us on the WhatsApp 90543 9054538247. This is our WhatsApp number. To enroll into the 4 courses, you can WhatsApp or download the application Bankers Zone CAIIB from the Play Store. Thank you.